Hey, welcome. Have you ever looked at your workplace and just thought, it's a giant, complicated puzzle? I mean, some days everything just clicks, and other days, well, not so much. Today, we're going to put on our detective hats. We're going to learn how to spot those hidden patterns and really crack the code of how organizations actually work. So let's get into it. All right, so every good detective starts by surveying the scene, right? For us, that means getting a handle on the puzzle itself. We have to ask, what even is an organization, really? So I want you to do something for me. Just for a second, picture the place you work. If you had to describe it like its true nature in just one image, what would that be? It sounds simple, but it's a way trickier question than you think. Because, as you're about to see, the answer completely changes depending on how you look at it. For some people, their organization is just like a well-oiled machine. You've got all these interlocking parts, every person is a gear with a specific role, and it's all designed logically to create a really predictable result. This whole view is about structure, process, and being super efficient. But maybe your workplace feels a bit more like a jungle. You know, a wild place where everyone's competing for resources, for territory, alliances are always shifting, and it really is survival of the fittest. This view is all about power, politics, and, well, winning. Then again, maybe it's not like that at all. Maybe for you, it's more like a family. It's built on relationships, you have shared values, there's a real sense of belonging. In this view, it's the culture, the traditions, and the way people support each other that really holds the whole thing together. So here's the really cool part. None of those metaphors, the machine, the jungle, the family, none of them are wrong. They're just different ways of seeing the same thing. And lucky for us organizational detectives, there's an entire field of study dedicated to cracking this exact code. It's called organizational behavior, or just OB for short. And it gives us the foundational clues we need to start solving the puzzle. Think of OB as the actual science behind our detective work. It's a systematic way of looking at what people do inside an organization and how all that behavior affects the company's performance. It looks for clues on every level, the individual person, the team they're on, and the overall company structure to get the complete picture. Now, a huge piece of the OB puzzle is leadership. And listen, this isn't just about the person with the fancy title. It's about the act of influencing others, how people get a group excited and motivated to work towards a common goal. It's the force that can totally steer the ship in a new direction. And then there's organizational development. This is really where the rubber meets the road. It's the practical side of things. Taking all that knowledge from OB and actually using it to make planned changes that help the company work better and make life better for the people who work there. Okay, so to really get a grip on the organizations we work in today, it helps to look at how the blueprints have changed over time. I mean, our ideas about the best way to run things have evolved a lot. We've gone from simple control to this complex idea of collaboration. Let's do a quick flyby of that evolution. So way back when, the first model was super straightforward and totally top-down. It was the autocratic model, and it was all about power. The boss had all the authority, and employees, well, they were just supposed to do what they were told. And the results? You guessed it. You got the bare minimum effort from people. Then things started to shift. The custodial model came along, realizing that just barking orders wasn't enough. The new thinking was basically, hey, if we give our employees good pay, security, and benefits, they'll depend on us and they'll cooperate. It was a step up, but it was still just passive cooperation. But see, passive cooperation isn't passion, is it? So the next big jump was the supportive model. This was huge. It was built on leadership, not just authority. The whole point was to support employees and help them do a great job, which in turn made them feel valued and recognized. From there, the idea grew into what's called the collegial model. And this one starts to see employees not as underlings, but as partners. The focus is all on teamwork, creating a feeling of shared responsibility and self-discipline. And the result? You start to see real enthusiasm, not just cooperation. And that brings us to where we are today, or at least the ideal we're striving for, this system model. This model is going for something even deeper. It's built on trust, on community, and on this idea of psychological ownership, that feeling that the company's wins are your wins. The goal here isn't just enthusiasm, it's true passion and a deep commitment to what you're all building together. So we've seen how the blueprints have changed, right? And that whole history lesson teaches us one really important thing. There is no single right way to do things. And that means a modern-day organizational detective needs a really versatile toolkit to figure out the puzzle in their own workplace. So let's open it up. People say Albert Einstein said this, and it is the #1 rule for any detective. The real key to solving a problem isn't just jumping to a solution. It's spending the time to understand the problem from every possible angle first. Because how you frame the problem in the first place determines the kinds of solutions you can even see. This right here is the perfect way to understand the power of framing. Look, if I ask you, what is 5 plus 5? There's only one right answer. It's 10. End of story. It's a closed box. But what if I reframe the question and ask, what two numbers add up to 10? Whoa, suddenly the possibilities are infinite, right? 8 and 2, -1 and 11, 9.9 and 0.1. See, the way you ask the question changes everything. So organizational detectives basically use 4 main lenses, or frames, to analyze any situation. And check this out. They should sound familiar. There's the structural frame, which is our machine. The human resource frame, that's our family. The political frame, our jungle. And finally, the symbolic frame, which is all about culture, meaning, and shared beliefs. Just look at this contrast. On the one hand, the structural frame looks at an organization and sees the formal org chart, the boxes, the lines, the rules, the logic. But then you put on the human resource lens and you see the exact same place as a web of people, a team with needs, skills, and relationships. It is the same organization, just seen through 2 totally different lenses. So that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Which lens should you use? And the answer is, well, it depends. It depends on the problem you're trying to solve. The absolute best detectives know exactly how to pick the right tool for the job. Think of this as your detective's cheat sheet. So for example, let's say you're dealing with a problem where you absolutely need individual commitment and buy-in. Well, your go-to lenses are going to be the human resource and symbolic frames. But if the #1 priority is technical quality, getting it right, then the structural frame is probably your best starting point. You just match the lens to the challenge. And that really brings us to the most important takeaway of all. Being a great manager, a great leader, a great employee, a really effective organizational detective, it's not about having all the answers. It's about getting good at asking the right questions and then choosing the right lens to find those answers. So as you head back into your own organization tomorrow, you've got this new toolkit, you've got these new lenses, you can see your workplace as a machine, a family, a jungle, or a place of deep shared meaning. You are the detective now. So my question to you is, what lens are you going to use first?